Hello Earthlings. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing numbers don't exist. No number 1 and no number 2 and no calculator app to save you during math class. Would the universe still run fine? Or would it literally collapse because math was always there, waiting to be discovered? Well, today we're solving this equation. Was mathematics discovered or invented? Let's clear the basics first. If something is discovered, it means it was already there, waiting for us to find it. Like gravity, fire, or the fact that your Wi-Fi stops working only when you actually need it. But if something is invented, it means humans created it, like the wheel, computers, or pineapple on pizza, a mistake that can't be undone. So where does maths fit in? Let's start with the idea that maths was always there, nature's hidden language. Example 1, the honeybees. Honeybees don't attend geometry class, yet they build perfect hexagons. Why hexagons? Because out of all shapes, hexagons cover the most area with the least wax. That's geometry in action, discovered by bees long before Pythagoras even picked up a triangle. Example 2, the Fibonacci series. You've seen it, in sunflowers, pine cones, seashells, hurricanes, galaxies. Everything follows that same spiral pattern, that same mathematical rhythm. Nature literally breathes in Fibonacci. We didn't invent it, we just noticed the code that was already written into reality. Example 3, the planets. Planets were revolving in perfect ellipses long before we could spell ellipse. They didn't wait for us to invent Newton's laws or Kepler's equations. The math existed, we just stumbled upon the formula describing what was already happening. It's like discovering a song that's been playing in the background of the universe all along. So yeah, nature seems to be doing math effortlessly, like it's hardwired into reality. But then comes the twist. The other side says, hold up, humans created maths. It's a tool, not a truth. Argument 1, Aryabhata and zero. Zero didn't exist in the earliest number systems. It took Aryabhata, and later Brahmagupta, to introduce the concept of nothingness having a value. Something nature doesn't really show. There are no zero stars in the sky. So, did we discover zero? Or did we just invent a clever placeholder? Argument 2, calculus. Newton couldn't explain his laws of motion using existing mathematics. So he, and Leibniz, basically created a whole new branch of math to fill the gap. If that's not invention, what is? Argument 3, the language argument. Some argue that maths is just a language we invented to describe patterns. Just like we invented English to describe feelings. The patterns existed, yes, but language itself, the symbols, the notation, the system, that was our doing. So far, it looks like a tie, right? But here's where we flip the table. Let's question this. If Aryabhata invented zero, does that mean nothingness didn't exist before he came along? Like, before him, was the universe just awkwardly pretending nothing wasn't a thing? Of course not. Zero wasn't created, it was noticed. Nothingness existed in nature long before humans learned to scribble it on palm leaves. When a tree drops its last apple, when a lion finds no prey, when your wallet has 0 rupees, that's real nothingness. Aryabhata and later Brahmagupta just had the brilliance to give that emptiness a symbol, a value, a place in our numerical system. It's like naming a star. You didn't create the star, you just gave it a name. And then comes calculus. People say Newton invented it. But let's be honest, did reality wait around for him to write down some fancy formulas? Objects were already accelerating, planets were already orbiting, rivers were already flowing with changing speeds. Newton didn't invent change. He discovered how to measure it. He spent years studying how quantities change, how distance becomes velocity, and velocity becomes acceleration. When he couldn't describe motion using the math of his time, he created new tools, differentiation to study how things change, and integration to find what those changes add up to. And ironically, the same method was being worked on, completely independently, by Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz around the same time. That's proof that truths in math exist waiting to be found, by anyone who looks closely enough. Now, let's talk about symbols. Yes, humans invented the symbols, the pluses, the minuses, the infinity signs. But not the truths they represent. You can replace 2 + 2 = 4 with bananas, sticks, or aliens holding laser guns, it will always add up. That's not invention. That's discovery of consistency woven into the fabric of reality. Even the constants of nature. Pi, g, the gravitational constant, E, Euler's number. We didn't make them up. They were already baked into the universe's equations long before we learned to write them down. We didn't invent pi, circles were already pi-ing themselves all across the cosmos. We didn't invent gravity, g was already holding galaxies together. And here's a bonus fact, bubbles. Every time you blow soap bubbles, notice something. They're always perfect spheres. Did humans give them that shape? Nope. That's math at work. Nature automatically minimizes surface area for the least energy. Spheres do that best. So even when you're playing with bubbles, you're literally holding a piece of geometry in your hand. Now let's get weird. Imaginary numbers, fractions, decimals, things that don't really exist in the physical world. You never see -1 apples hanging on a tree. You can't pick half an electron or 0.333 of a planet. Yet, these concepts work. They help us describe quantum mechanics, financial systems, music frequencies, even black holes. So maybe math isn't about what we see, it's about what is true. And truth doesn't need to exist physically to be real. And the best part, one mathematical equation can have multiple solutions, just like one truth can have multiple interpretations. That's what makes maths feel less like an invention, and more like a discovery of a hidden realm. So, was mathematics discovered or invented? Maybe the symbols were invented, but the truths behind them, the patterns in the honeycomb, the rhythm in the Fibonacci spiral, the orbits of the planets, they were always there. We didn't make the universe mathematical, we just finally understood its language.